I've had my own journey as an artist here, and quite often, like we talked about, the images, the works you see in galleries and institutions have not been people of color, have not been indigenous people, have not been black people, but also even within that, even within black people, it would be even less black women, black queer folks. And so when I was able to meet Adrienne Cruz here, who is a professional artist, she has exhibited in the Smithsonian. It was important for me to meet her. And so these are her flying carpet coats. And these were made when she first came to Oregon in the early 80s. She's an artist. She's a professor over at PSU. She's a founder. She is a co-founder of the King School Museum of Contemporary Art at King School. Just a brilliant, passionate person. And she has her own art practice, and it's often feeling and thinking through black hair care, black hair beauty, like shop and the beauty supply store. And so basically this piece, we have this like platform and this like light tealish color, but basically she came, and this is one long braid. And so she came and with this in a bundle, and she like slowly walked this, like trailed it, and just slowly trailed this down onto here. And so it was this beautiful performative, meditative process to see. And yeah, I just love this piece. She's amazing. I do want to talk about Maya Vivas, who's an amazing performer, like ceramic artist. These pieces are called surface tension. And alongside being an artist, they are also the founder of Ori Gallery, which is on Williams Avenue, and is a black trans queer founded gallery on a historic street that has been heavily like gentrified, So they're doing important work, like revealing and creating space for like black arts expression. Charlotte Lewis, she was a community artist. She taught at the Black Educational Center here. She gave her work to community, and she passed of breast cancer in 1999. And this piece is in the collection of the Multnomah Public Library and has been there. And so she was a collaborator with Adrienne Cruz, and her work had never been seen in the museum. It isn't in the collection of the museum, but she is foundational to Black arts history here, and I just always have to talk about her and her brilliant, amazing work. So the artist who did the print is an artist here named Melanie Stevens, amazing print artist, just like, yes. And yes, so she did a print of both Charlotte Lewis and Charles Tatum, who is another artist from a similar era, like born in the 30s. I feel like that piece or those pieces, coming back to the intergenerational conversation, that kind of triad expresses it for me. Like, there's the celebration between artists of a certain era, who are of around the same age, like Charlotte Lewis and Richard Brown. And so this piece right here is in the collection of Richard Brown. So when I was looking for her works, there were people who were other artists, her peers who had kept her work. And so we borrowed this piece from him. And also he had a photo of her here that he had taken. And so that I put in the exhibition. But when I was talking to some of the younger artists about the exhibition, there were certain artists who wanted to create works that were based on this history. And so I shared this image with Melanie Stevens, who then created that print based on this image and also incorporating some of Charlotte Lewis's stylistic techniques. He came here in the late 70s, and in the 80s, you know, he was saying that he was experiencing or seeing things where Black elders were not being respected by community, by younger people, by youth. And he started to do a series called Keepers of Our Story, where he would photograph Black elders and then, you know, exhibit the works, but also he was trying to connect Black youth with Black elders. And so this piece is a part of that work, you know. And even here, the importance of Black documentarians and Black photographers, you know, there's a lot here, but even this work in this piece is by her. It's an image of Duke Ellington. So there's lots of things about our sight, our view, our gaze, and how we are recognizing one another. I started to do some research into the history of Black people at the museum. And I came across this photo of this Black man and this hat and this shadow, and through his image, I was able to find out that he was a Black artist. And so he is truly prolific, and he would always donate or give his work to arts institutions. And so I love this image because he's leaving a record of himself in the archive such that another Black artist of a very different generation, was able to see him and able to recognize him. And I love that because, you know, sometimes people's work is not images of Black people. It's of whatever is in life, you know. But we have to let each other know that we're here. And that's how I found out about Shedrick Williams, through his work being in the Portland Art Museum collection. And so that's also the importance of that to me. When I first started collecting, I was searching for information about this artist, Ray Eglin. And he came up to Oregon in the late 60s to go to the University of Oregon to play football. But he was also an artist, and he was also an activist. And he was also the underground general of the Black Panther Party down in Eugene. And so I was trying to find information about him, and I was able to find a piece on eBay from 1973 that he did. You know, so that was the first thing that I began to gather. And then I was able to buy other pieces. At the time, I found around 10 Black artists, or a few folks that I missed, but there were about 10 Black artists, 2 Black women that I was able to find, and then kind of later I found 2 other Black women, but we know that's not enough, you know. And so we were able to show works that were in the museum's collection, but we were also able to, you know, coming back to honoring Black people here in this place, you know, honoring Black elders. Like, the works came from Black families. They came from Black elders, artists like Richard Brown, who's in I think he's 84 now. And he kept some works by Charlotte Lewis, and he lent works of her from this show. This piece over here is coming from the library system here. Things are coming from Black families where the artist has passed, like Thelma Johnson Street. Her family, they have the Thelma Johnson Street Project, where they've been working to bring her story to light. So these pieces on the right came from her family. This other piece, the Black version, came from Reed College. It's coming from all over, but it is a community effort. Both of these pieces are by Thelma Johnson Street, but this piece is in the collection, and she was prolific. You know, she was a dancer. She danced in front of her pieces. She was a performing artist in a time when, that was not the thing to do, She was an educator. She was a muralist, as you're seeing here, a textile artist. And she's, one of the earlier Black artists that we know of here in Oregon, and I would say surely one of the first or the early ones who had an impact outside of the Pacific Northwest. I think of her as a Black arts foremother and foresister here, just thinking about that groundswell energy that allows us, that facilitates the work of other artists to have expression. It's awesome that this piece is here. And so when you come up to the museum and you see the big banner of the woman dancing, that's her. And I wanted her to be seen big because of her outsized influence, not just in the past, but how she can influence us now.